why you should buy vinyl and CD. I love Spotify, I admit it, and I'm not ashamed of it. Having access to so much music, for just a little more than one CD cost back in the 1980s. It's incredible, and a CD that cost a tenner in the 1980s, that tenner, adjusted for inflation, would now be more than 30 Great British pounds. I could, of course, list all the drawbacks of streaming services, but I'm sure my commenters will do that for me. But here's something you might not have noticed: music going missing. What you listened to and enjoyed yesterday isn't there today. Gone. Just gone. Yes, you know this already. Some fancy artist has a licensing dispute with their label and gone. Just gone. A favourite mix or master suddenly remastered with extra lovely, crunchy distortion. The earlier, so much better version, gone. Lots of reasons. But here's another one. Small bands and artists, people who don't have a label behind them, releasing their own music on streaming platforms. The way this works is that the artist needs to go through a distributor. Streaming services won't accept material directly. There are a number of distributors, but two of the most popular are CD Baby and DistroKid. I've chosen these because, yes, they are two of the most popular, and because the way they work is different. So, let's suppose you've suddenly learned how to play the guitar, learned how to sing and write songs. Oh yes, you've learned how to produce, mix and master your own recordings. You're a quick learner. The next step will be to release your music to the world. You're in it for the long term and you expect to release regularly. So you investigate the distributors, and having chosen two of the most popular to consider in depth, you're weighing up the options. CD Baby and DistroKid each has various pros and cons, but there's a fundamental difference in the way you'll pay them for their services. With CD Baby, you pay for each release. At present, it's $9.99 for a single or an album. It may not seem good value to release just a single if an album is no more costly, but there's a school of thought that says that singles will perform better. I don't know. I don't have enough data on this. Anyway, $9.99. But there's more to pay. It's funny how CD Baby doesn't mention this on their pricing page, but there's also 9% commission taken out of your streaming revenue. So, suppose you're lucky enough to achieve $100 revenue from Spotify. That's around 25,000 plays, by the way. CD Baby will credit $91 to your account. Also, when you decide to cash out your payments, you'll pay a flat $2.50 fee. There are other complications for other music outlets, but I'll stick with this for now. Let's look at DistroKid. Their basic offering is unlimited uploads, so as many singles and albums as you like, for $17.99 a year. Again, there are complications, but I'll stick with this. These pricings, by the way, are what I see today, and of course they might change in future. So, any right-minded artist would fire up their spreadsheet and calculate which distributor is going to cost less in the long run. But the essence is that with CD Baby, you pay once and your music is on streaming. That's that. With DistroKid, you have to keep paying your subscription to keep your music online. I have no moral dilemma here. It's a straightforward choice that different people will make in different ways. But the thing is, if as an artist you choose DistroKid as your distributor, you have to ask yourself, what is the lifespan of your music? Come on, any artist wants the lifespan of their music to be eternity. So they need to consider that they will have to continue paying $17.99 a year, or whatever it changes to, for the rest of their life, and the 70 years after their death, which is the standard duration of copyright for an individual. After that, well, just hope that being in the public domain will keep your music around for forever. This is fine for the artist as long as they understand what they're getting themselves into. But what about their audience, people who love and will come to love their music? These people don't know which distributor the artist has used and are blissfully unaware of what's around the corner. So, you're a fan of my mythical band called The Deserters. 2 S's in desert. They met at school. They don't have any kind of formal arrangement. They all chip in to write the songs, perform, and they share the costs of production. Bass guitarist Marty Kripster handles the financials, including DistroKid's yearly subscription. They release several singles, several albums, and their streaming fans love them. Money rolls in, and fans are happy. But then, it all falls apart. Marty gets a job in a bank and doesn't have time for the band, nor for handling the money. No one else in the band is sufficiently self-organised to take over. Then they split. They're not called the deserters for nothing. So they all get proper jobs and the bills don't get paid. DistroKid's reminders get lost in Marty's now non-existent spam folder. Guess what? Their music gets pulled from streaming. All of it, forever. And so, the entire Deserters fandom no longer has access to their music. Since they never made any physical product, it's just gone. The only copies reside somewhere in landfill on a rusting hard drive. OK, so I don't have figures on how much of this goes on, but I'm absolutely sure that it does happen, leaving fans disappointed. And although I've targeted DistroKid here, it doesn't mean that there aren't other distributors who will embark artists and fans in exactly the same boat. And CD Baby, well, they're making a promise that seems to last forever. I'm in the business of online education, and my competitors talk inspiringly about lifetime access, as though a student can pay once and still access their course online in 20 years' time. Whose lifetime is an appropriate question? The buyer? The seller? The lifetime of the universe? One thing is certain, however. If you buy your music on vinyl or CD, it stands a very good chance of lasting as long as you do. Greta Thunberg would probably tell you that it takes hundreds of years for PVC to break down, or until fungus learns how to eat it. CDs, well, yes, they can rot, and I've had quite a few break down in that way. But that was due to faulty manufacturing, and I suspect that properly made CDs will last into the next century and perhaps beyond. Again, longer than you. So the answer is to buy vinyl and CD? Well, possibly yes, if you can afford to buy physical product for every artist or band you want to listen to. But there's a chicken and there's an egg here. The artists and bands I've been talking about are releasing digitally. Releasing digitally costs next to nothing. Releasing physical product costs significant money. And would it have a market? So many artists and bands will consider their path to fame and fortune to be streaming, and when they've achieved that, physical products will follow. Until then, their fans don't have any vinyl or CD to buy, and as much as they love small artists on streaming, their music may not be there forever. What we need, therefore, going to be controversial here, is for rich audiophiles to step up to the wicket, or the oche, or the plate, if you prefer. We know all about audiophiles who will spend $100,000 or more on their system, and then start thinking about upgrading it. So maybe their money could be better spent, no, invested, by supporting small artists and bands to produce and market physical products. For a share of the profits, of course. That's reasonable and gives everyone an incentive. So, instead of paying $1,000 for a cable, why not spend that money on helping your favourite small artist or band enter the world of physical products? And if the worst comes to the worst and they stop recording and performing, their vinyl and CDs will live on. In fact, I could possibly go so far as to say that if you've ever paid $1,000 for a cable, or a similarly ridiculous amount for any item of hi-fi, you're not a true audiophile. A true audiophile would invest in music. See you soon.